In its 15th year, the Ouachita Student Foundation competition is one of the campus's most popular events.
I believe that Ouachita is in Carol's DNA from the time that she was born until forever.
It's very easy to share the Ouachita story, the Ouachita belief, and the Ouachita dream, because when people finally get on campus, they realize, wow, there really is something different about being on this campus versus another. To me, it's home. I started learning the alphabet, of course, as a young child, and the alphabet started with O-B-U. My parents were good friends with the Elrods and the Vinings, and as little babies, we were around Ouachita all the time. I just knew that's where I was going.
Russell Miller, his question always would be, what can I do to help? And I think that instilled in her that servant mentality. What can she do to help the house, the city, the county, the state? What can I offer?
Carol has always been mature beyond her years, and I think Dad saw that. Even in high school, she was that way. She has great leadership skills. She's very logical in her thinking. She's very organized. She knows how to run things. So I think he knew all her skill sets and knew she'd be perfect for the early years of OSF.
Student Foundation, as many people will tell you, was probably my world. I'm one of the founding members, and we started it my sophomore year, in essence, because Dr. Elrod said, I want to start an organization
whose purpose was going to be to recruit students and raise money for upperclassmen who needed to be able to stay at Ouachita. I told him it sounded like a whole lot of work to me, and he said, well, let me tell you some of the people who have kind of pre-committed, and Carol's name rose to the top immediately. Knowing that, I said, okay, I'm in. We had no model to begin with for Student Foundation, and Andrew gave us a good, solid, successful base.
It was a bit of a surprise when Dr. Grant, Dr. Elrod, and Lane Strother, and Larry Bone came to us. We'd been hand-chosen. We knew that a great deal of responsibility had been thrust upon us.
Student Foundation didn't have 100 people. We had more like probably 18 to 20. It was a major undertaking, reaching out and talking to donors about why we loved Ouachita so much and how we were needing to raise funds to help other students.
I didn't like calling on wealthy business people, and she tried to convince me that, oh, Cindy, it can be fun. And you're not asking for yourself, you're asking for other students.
It was so important that it was students helping students. And we were raising money for scholarships for students that were not going to be able to come back to Ouachita. And so that was definitely the critical aspect of why it was started.
A leader needs someone who stands by them. And that's one of the things I think of when I think of Carol. The way she supported me in a leader role, the way she lifted me up, the way that she encouraged me. Just kind of spoke to you as if it can be done and you can do it. Let's go. There was just such a trust in the relationship then and now, because nothing has changed.
She's the one who really put the vision in us and laid the groundwork and decided how to get the task done. She came up with committees, and she made us all want to work alongside her. She led us through uncharted territory, really. The first tricycle race was the second or third year, and they told Kevin Weezer and me, go lay a track. You have to figure the angles, you have to figure the width. So Kevin and I went and spent a long time measuring and getting on those trikes and, making wheelies.
The first trike race was in Walton Gym, and it was by all the women faculty.
I really had no idea what OSF would become 50 years later. All we thought was, what a great honor, what a great privilege for getting to serve others. Let's just do the work now. And then year 2 came, then year 3 came, and so forth and so on. And now here we are at year 50.
Student Foundation just grabbed hold of my heart. To this day, it still has it.
Even though her education started at a young age, I think she honed her skills at Ouachita through her leadership in OSF.
I believe because of Ouachita, Carol developed a very strong faith, and I think those values have defined her life. The education she received there, I know she believes that's very important, that young people receive that same opportunity.
You're not going to hurt yourself by giving back to others. That would be my encouragement for anyone that would be listening to this and wondering, why should I give? You will receive a bigger blessing by giving than you ever would by receiving. And my parents taught me that multiple times, by their actions and by their words.
The Millers were lifetime supporters of Ouachita, and I think Carol carries that legacy on today. Carol, I think none of us really knew where this thing would end up, but what a successful 50 years we've had, and I credit you with much of that success. I know today, Mother and Dad and your mother and dad would be so proud of you, and you so deserve this honor.